I have discovered that maybe David having the satellite picture updating all the time might have been using a few too many bytes for my other stuff. We've got how many computers here? We've got 5 computers operating, so we have to dampen some down. Good morning, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio on this day, the 20th of June, a Thursday, and we are here, ZMH 286, as you know, every weekday, and it is not a very wonderful day here, actually, although the temperature's at least up a bit. We have finally decided that we need to almost ignore the temperature coming from our Davis system on top of the roof. It says 16 degrees, but the min-max thermometer outside the door is saying 12. That is a big difference. Boy, we could almost get a job at the IPCC, or is it the IPPC, or whatever? 1P, IPCC, with
there should be a lot of S's, though.
A lot of S's, telling you what our temperature is, and it's not really accurate. So I think we'll be going to the one that says 12, which is actually a decent temperature because we've got an east-northeast of about 10 knots this morning, total cloud cover, and now that I can see it, and it's 1024.1, so the barometer is pretty high. It's steady on 1024.1. Few people have reached their destinations. I see that Marilyn have arrived in Vavau, quite a long trip from Tauranga. Good morning to you guys. That you're probably sleeping, so you won't be hearing me. And a big good morning to all of the folk that are now in the north or south Minerva area. So I actually haven't seen any emails from those this morning. They're probably all sleeping too. So let me just have a break to see if anybody wants to give a report. Everyone's still a little bit sleepy. Okay, well, let's go on to a bit of news then around the world. There's not a hell of a lot happening at the moment. President Trump opened his 2020 campaign in Orlando last night, hitting the same themes that got him actually elected a couple of years ago, so nothing much has changed there. He has some work to do, though, because the polls, if you believe them, and polls have not been right anywhere in the world, say he is trailing the leading Democrats. But he does have a $40 million campaign war chest, so that should probably be put to good use. In Europe, we were talking about measles and so on that are sweeping the world at the moment, but it seems that there is a crisis of confidence, as it's called, in vaccines. Only 59% of people in Europe think that vaccines are safe. That's not very high. It compares with 79% worldwide. France has the highest level of mistrust. Only 33% believe that the vaccines are not harmful. They've got a very good health system, so that is a very surprising number.
Yeah, but do you think that's emotion, or do they have facts?
Well, they don't have facts because they're blaming, the experts are blaming social media as an amplifier of doubt, and they come up with some very false information. And it is amazing. We've got a very good, intelligent friend who doesn't believe in fluoridation of water. And God only knows why. He is actually a very competent, intelligent person, but just seems to ignore the statistics that are coming from the dentists who just cannot believe that various places in the country have voted to not have fluoridation in the water. Anyway, that's not on my subject. The UN Refugee Agency has warned that the number of people forced to flee their homes has conservatively reached 70 million. Around 4 million of these are Venezuelans, and the rest are from countries that you would not put on your must-see before you die list: Syria, Afghanistan, South Sudan, Myanmar, and Somalia. But there are some surprising additions. There's been hundreds of Roma people forced out of a village in western Russia after a rather deadly brawl along racist lines there. So there are sort of pockets of different people adding to that list of 70 million people floating around. Yeah, they are the gypsies. Okay, well, let's go to closer to home for some news now. I have made some changes to our website. That's www.ghradio.co.nz. We're getting some rather wonderful pictures sent in, and it just seemed a shame to only David and I look at them. Also some videos from drones and things. So we've opened up a gallery section in our website to plop these in. And if you go on, you'll notice in the hamburger thing, you know, that's the 3 horizontal lines. Go down, you'll now see gallery. And I've started putting some photos in. There's a couple of photos of some of the cruisers from the Whangarei area, some that look all happy in very light clothing and sabu celebrating their arrival, and some looking well wrapped up for their final dinner before they left in June. Then there's some pictures from of the buoy in South Minerva, and a couple of wonderful paintings that Eva on sailing vessel Elta has done. Also, David on Anahata has got a couple of videos that he took. One of them is absolutely amazing from North Minerva. He took it with the drone about 500 metres high, and just a really good shot of North Minerva in a video there. So have a look at those, and if you've got anything that you think would be of interest to the rest of the community, then pop it in the email for me. The other thing I have done is change our donations page. People and I would have to start with saying that we really, really do appreciate people that support our endeavours here. And last year I tried using a company called Patreon, but it was just useless because it was really more for people that had music and stuff like that. And for a one-off donation, it was pretty hard to deal with. So we've now set up accounts in the various different currencies with a company called TransferWise. So regardless of whether your home account is in British pounds or US dollars or euros or Australian dollars or whatever, you can now just do it a very easy transfer. So I hope that works, because we really do appreciate the support, and I know it's been difficult to do it. We are not a company, so if we couldn't really use something like PayPal because you get into taxation difficulties. So this will be the best way around that. And now, can I say ahead of time, thank you very much for supporting us, and make sure you put your boat name in where it asks for a reference. I don't know a lot of people's last names, so unless you put your boat name in, I don't know who you are. So if you want to make a donation, just hop onto the website and click on the donations page. All right, further afield now, in fact the opposite side of the world, you will recall nearly 5 years ago a missile brought down the Malaysian Airlines MH17 flight. There has been an incredible amount of work going on with the researchers trying to work out who was behind all this, and it's taken a lot of time, but boy, what they have done, it's incredible. They've gone through phone calls and just amazing. Anyway, they now have 4 people out of the 12 that they suspect that were responsible for this killing of 298 people. They worked out where the missile came from, how it was transported. It definitely came from the Russian Federation military. So these people are Russian-backed Ukrainian rebels, and they have now identified 4 people that they are going to try. Now that's all happening at the moment, actually. I had to cut it short to come to the radio, but a court in the Netherlands is handling all of that. Going to Hong Kong, and not the demonstrations. Hong Hong Kong's richest man, and rich, I mean rich, he has got 30.4 billion worth. He's decided to pay the tuition fees for a class of Chinese university students for 4 to 5 years. You'll recall that I mentioned a month or so ago a US billionaire paid for a graduating class. He paid all their loans. So this is actually a good trend that's happening around the world. Gives people something good to do with their money. Oh, the other interesting thing, too, you'll recall over the last few years there's been sneakers washed up around the world, particularly around the UK, Brittany, the Bahamas, Bermuda type areas. And it's been quite interesting because in some places only left sneakers were found, and in some places right sneakers were found. So it's been a big mystery. And somebody has actually been working on it. It's a kind of not exactly something that will cure cancer or do anything worthwhile. But anyway, somebody has been working on tracing these sneakers, and in fact they found it was they originated from a Maersk ship that was sailing between Virginia and North Carolina, I think it was, and they lost 70 to 76 containers in storms that they ran into down that coast. Now, the World Shipping Council estimates that of the 218 million containers that are transported each year, 1,000 are lost overboard. Now, experts say that this is much higher. And the reason it's much higher is that a company does not have to advise about any lost containers unless they contain substances that are harmful to the environment, like toxic or poisonous chemicals, for example, or if they are a hazard to other vessels. Now, that's kind of an open statement, really, because they could look at, say, if you're in the Pacific, then there's not too many vessels there, so, what's a few containers floating around, it's not likely to cause a problem. So there are a lot of containers, particularly in busy areas such as the Atlantic. Anyway, one container can hold up to about 10,000 sneakers. I don't know why I keep saying speakers. 10,000 sneakers. So these things don't float. These containers are all meant to have these things that allow water through, and that they will eventually just sink to the bottom. But when they're full of something very, very light, like sneakers or jandals, they're not going to sink. They float. Now, the funny thing is that the left and right sneakers float with different orientation to the wind. So they get blown to different places. Now, a lot of these sneakers will end up on shore, but a lot of them float around and just do big circuits depending on the ocean currents and the weather conditions and so on. So that they float around, and they finally do succumb. The pattern succumbs to the wind, and the left ones go one way and the right ones go another. So
just like real life.
Yeah, just like real life. Yeah, the lefts and the rights. All right, I am going to see if Southern Cross. I haven't seen. I got your email, thank you, and I know you'll be looking forward to catching up with Ganesh when you arrive. But Southern Cross. So you on frequency? Yeah, good morning, Catherine. Quite a good signal, so go ahead. Yep, I just checked me on the latitude because it doesn't look too much different from yesterday. 2645 and 15926. Did I get that correct? Yeah, roger that. Yes, I see that is a good couple of degrees east. So, yep. What are the conditions? Ah, sounds good progress then, and quite nice sailing. Yeah, it's much better, David. We were looking at that because there were a couple of other boats in that low, he thought might have gone south. It looked as if the model said it was going to go south, in which case you would have got more headwinds, but it didn't. So you're very, very lucky. So good progress there for you guys. All right, clear with the Southern Cross. Is there anybody else? No, nothing from that. Oh, I was just thinking about local talent this morning. Here's coming in on streaming. It's a bit scratchy. The SSB is a bit scratchy. And, there's, you're meeting up with Frank. And good morning to Frank. And in Sabu, believe it or not, it's 90% cloud, but no, probably have sporadic showers, says John on Amazing Grace. And in the Bay of Islands, Mesaluna have got 20% clouds and a little bit of wind. Yeah, I'd like to have gone there. And looking at the boats in Minerva, we have Scoots reporting 60% cloud cover, 15 knots from the southeast. Temperature 73F. What on earth is 73F? Goodness. They've been in New Zealand all this time and they're reporting F. I think it's about 23 degrees.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a whole heap of boats there.
Not that
In North Minerva, there's Scoots, Rewa, Gone with the Wind, Persuasion, Muscat, Cetacea, Avalon, Arca, where to. It looks really, really good. So, and I see Southern Cross Shore Report is in here. I didn't see that. And Ballot, boy, they must have been up early. They say east to southeast down there in, I presume that's South Minerva. Yes, it is South Minerva, 24 degrees south. So
22.7.
22.7 is the 73F. Goodness. All right. So that's about it from me. I see it's now time to pass the microphone. So here's David.
Well, okay, good morning. Yeah, well, there's a lot of action heading for New Zealand today, all thanks to a complex low system making landfall first with a warm front. I use the words warm front a little bit loosely, as our temperature this morning was 12°C. We have to get to the bottom of our temperature gauges here. Anyway, everything is relative, so it is a warm front compared to the temperatures that we had yesterday, which were 8 or 9°C. Anyway, this is going to be followed by a series of troughs and fronts shortly after, making the North Island rather wet today and Friday. It's not raining yet, but it's about to. It sure looks like it. Now, remember the two parallel fronts yesterday, just north of the North Island. They're still parallel, still side by side, of course, with 3 degrees separating them, but they're shifting. They're moving. They don't like it here. So they're going to lie south of Tongatapu by midnight tonight. Still the same length, quite long, same separation between them. They're just taking a hike to a different location. Now, to the west of these little stubborn fronts, the cruising routes are home to about 3 troughs and 1 cold front that I could see this morning, all oriented more or less north to south, if you could picture that. And they're spread out. One starts at about 160 east, then another, etc. And the last one is about 178 east. So, yes, you look at satellite imagery and you certainly can see these. So, quite a bit of squally activity from time to time. And in between that, nice sunny skies. So, for those underway and are on the run line from New Zealand to Fiji, you're going to have pretty light air. If you're there, you know you have light air. And that's between 30 south and about 23 south or so. So that's if you're on that run line, or just basically west of 179 east, almost the date line. Now to the east of that, we find a little bit more air, probably around 15 knots. So that's pretty nice sailing breeze. So you have to do a little bit of an arc eastward to get into that wind zone, if you will. Now, Minerva today should see roughly east, southeast, 15 to 20. We're not getting that much wind now based on the reports, but the modeling is showing the wind picking up later today. So we'll be interested to see what actually happens there. Now tomorrow they're mostly easterlies, and also basically from 24 south to the islands, mostly easterlies. And by Saturday now, around 15 knots east to a shade north of east, just right in that directional zone there, from Minerva to Fiji or Tonga. So that's pretty good. Lighter air than that en route to Anisham or New Caledonia, but there is a frontal band that's going to reach north to Vanuatu and one to New Caledonia. By Sunday, they may consolidate into one, so it's going to be a bit wet. Vanuatu on Monday may get the good news, and that front looks fairly active. So call us if you need any more en route wind data after I'm done today, if you need it. Now, by Monday, the 24th, we're going to see a polar dip that's going to be found south of Fiji, and there is going to be a depression, subtropical depression, forming halfway between New Zealand and Fiji. Now, the depression starts to wrap up pretty good on Tuesday. It's going to move southeast on Tuesday as well. Winds to its north are being pulled into the circulation. So what's going to happen is you could expect northerly quadrant winds near Tonga, Fiji, and Vanuatu, with the frontal band itself over Vanuatu. So all those winds are getting pulled in on the north side from the north. So it looks like convective activity for Fiji as well in that time period. And long range, basically a week from today, sort of next Thursday, I suppose, we're going to see a very large area high. It'll be centered over southeast southeast Australia, and that's going to push a ridge onto the Tasman and most of the cruising routes. This is a very large high, folks. Not sure what the central pressure is going to be yet, but area-wise, it's going to consume a lot of territory. And that could be good news. That's a possibility of another window for those of you who are still stuck here in warm New Zealand. Moving to Tonga, imagery shows scattered cloud. Heavier coverage over Tongatapu from what I can see. So expect cloudy periods, isolated showers, I think up and down the chain. Now, Tonga Met has issued a strong wind warning to include Vavau, the Pies, Tongatapu, plus a small craft warning for this area. They're calling for east to southeast winds, 15 to 20, rising to 25 knots at times, and expect moderate to rough seas along with that, obviously in open water. And just as bad Friday, east to southeast 10 to 15, but rising 20 to 25 at times. They have a very curious way of putting that. It sort of covers all the bases. Early morning, the actual conditions there, these are real. Vavau is variable 5 knots, scattered cloud, barometer 1013. The Hapais, southeast 6, scattered to broken, and a lot of towering cumulus there, barometer 1014. And Tongatapu, southeast about 5, also scattered to broken and towering cumulus as well, barometer 1015. So we have a 2 millibar differential in barometric pressure throughout those three zones, if you will. So that's a bit of a gradient for the tropics. Fiji shows scattered cloud on imagery. The worst of it is the Coro Sea and eastern B Levu. So expect east to southeast winds about 15 to 20. Tomorrow east 15 to 20 as well. Moderate to rough seas with that. I'll give you a few actual conditions. I may continue doing this. It might be of interest. You should let me know if you are interested in what's coming. So at 5:30 this morning, Undue Point, southeast 10, barometer 1012. These are actuals now, not forecasted. Vanua Balavu, southeast 11, barometer 1016, 1016. Mandy was northeast 5, scattered cloud, barometer 1013. Missouri, southeast 3, bit of strato Q there, barometer 1015. Matuku, down there, down to the south, southeast 6, barometer 1014. Onoilau, northeast 7, and barometer 1015. So, as you can see, we've got fairly light air early on this morning, but it's going to pick up as the sun gets a little bit higher. Now, the radar loop this morning shows quite aggressive showers for eastern Viti Levu and the western Coro Sea. But let us know if you want to continue to hear some of these actuals at these various sites. Let me know. For Vanuatu, quite a bit of cloud, mainly rain-bearing actually. Sola, light showers today, east to 20 knots up there. Port Orly, cloudy. That'll be east in the 10-knot range. Luganville, mostly cloudy, east to 15. Port Vila, cloudy, east around 10. Lenikai, down where that lovely volcano is, mostly cloudy. Easterlies in the 10-knot range. And way down there in Anishim, cloudy, east 10 or so. Now tomorrow, for the group in general, east to east-southeast, 10 to 15. And Saturday, light air as well, mostly easterlies, I would say. And finally, New Caledonia, they also show scattered cloud on imagery. Looks like pretty light air. Southeast around 10 knots for the South Lagoon, and that includes Ile de Pen. Tomorrow, easterlies in the 10-knot range as well. These are actuals at 4 a.m. The outer reef was east-southeast 11. Ile de Pen was south 4, and Nemea was east 9. Along the range, expect showers to rain on Sunday. So enjoy the rest of the week while you can. Looks like the weekend might not turn out so good, at least Sunday. So we'll see if that comes true. And that's it for me. Any questions or comments, come now. And here's the chief.
Yeah, we'll give a call in a moment, but I forgot to pass on some information that came in actually from Kuperi on the ITS site. They're actually in the Yasawas at the moment, about halfway down, and they made mention of the fact that going to the caves, now you presumably know about the caves, I didn't, we never got to the Yasawas, but anyway, the caves now cost $50 per person. I presume that's Fijian, because New Zealand $50, that would be an awful lot. But thanks for that information. And by the way, you guys figure in the picture that Margie sent of the big buoy in South Minerva there. And in fact, on that picture, if you hover over the pictures on this gallery site, folks, there is the information as to where it is, who took the picture, and so on. But I've also put Margie's blog site address because she's got some fantastic, and sorry, Monty, if this is you, but I think it's Margie, some fantastic pictures from South Minerva. We never actually went to South Minerva, so I found them very interesting. For some reason, North Minerva was just worked out time-wise and so on and so forth. But South Minerva is very interesting based on the pictures that Margie has sent. And this particular picture has the crew of Kuperi in front with others of the buoy that's there. And I would like to hear from the boats or somebody from South Minerva to know that it is still there, because if it dislodges itself, it will become a hazard to vessels in the area. 10 knots from the east, by the way, and clear skies in the Yasawas at the moment, so that sounds rather good. Mahi also reported sunny. That's brief, isn't it? From, looks like the Vavau group, and they are reporting quite a nice little spot there. where they are and with our group. And we do appreciate the weather reports that come in on the IT site, so keep them coming. All right, and if you're not on yet, just send an email, ghradio@extra.co.nz. Now, David, whilst I've been talking, has been working on a rather unusual passage from Port Vila to Cairns, starting this week. Actually, I've also been looking at Jeffrey's blog. Flying Fish has got a fantastic blog with wonderful pictures, and this last one is all about clownfish. And I know anyone that dives just loves clownfish. I think I must have 1,000 pictures of clownfish, not the quality that Jeffrey's got, but there are a lot when you start looking at the differences, one stripe or two stripes, orange or yellow or whatever it happens to be. But a really, really interesting blog on Flying Fish site, all about the clownfish. I'm going to pass the microphone now. Hopefully David's had a look at that passage, which will take him about a week.
Yeah, it'll probably take me a week to figure it out too. Jeffrey, all the winds are going to be in a good direction, mostly southeast. Looks like you want to leave on the 22nd.
No, that's arriving on the 22nd.
Well, that couldn't arrive
Oh,
on the
no,
22nd.
think about, I see. It doesn't say when he's leaving.
Anyway, I'm assuming you're going to leave around that point. Anyway, you've got some frontal bands that are going to be bothering the whole area this weekend. So probably not a great time to be taking off. But apart from those, the winds are going to be fresh, quite fresh on that trip. But like I said, all in a pretty good direction. And I'm looking at next Wednesday as far as I would want to go. And the western Coral Sea at that point, southeast 20 to 25, again, all in a good direction for you. But you'll make good time. It looks like you'll make good time, all right. The only thing that will happen more than likely is we've got a lot of convective activity that's been occurring between there and between where you are and Cairns. And aside from those frontal bands that I talked about, that convective activity will give squalls, and with those will be a change in wind direction and, of course, much higher winds. So anyway, that's about the long and short of it. So good luck with what you do. When you do depart, then we'll take a look at that journey a little bit deeper, or at least maybe the day before you go. This weekend, I think I'd scrap, but that's just us. Here's Chief.
Yep, it's only Thursday, so we'll have another look on that one. And just want to see if there's somebody awake at South Minerva. Citrus Tart, are you near the radio? Please call. Well, good morning. And how is the anchorage, and is the buoy still there? Over.
The buoy's still here. It's pretty close to the inside edge, so we'll float off at some time in the near future.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. Hopefully it will stay there during the course of the season, but it is winter time, so that's interesting. Well, thanks for that, Steve. The buoy is still there as of the 20th of June. How many boats there? Over.
There's 3 boats. Pelagian's going to go and the anchorage is beautiful, and yeah, it's all good.
Oh, good. All right. Thank you for that report. All right. Is there anybody else wanting anything? This is Gulf Harbour Radio. It's quieter today, so I wonder if Alchemy 2 are on frequency from Tonga. Is Alchemy 2 there? Just wanted to do a radio check, but never mind. All right, well, we'll leave the frequency to all you folk. Nothing much more from here, and we will be back again. Last day for the week tomorrow, Friday. Okay, this is Gulf Harbour Radio, and we are clear. The frequency's all yours. Good morning, Alan, and I did hear back from Denise. She was pleased to hear. She was getting a little bit concerned. she sent some pictures of she usually does. It's lovely to get some pictures from her, and we commented how very like the South Island they were, and she said, yeah, that's why she doesn't want to go to the South Island. Back to you, Alan. Okay, just high cloud and otherwise all okay. All right, well, thanks for that. Good to know.
Where's he at now?
Yes, I'm just reminding David about where he is at. Say roughly 22 and 159.31 east. So he'll
22
have a look.
and 159.
Yes, he's just having a look at the models here. See what the models say, but you know what you've got, so that's more accurate than the models.
It'll be a light air tomorrow.
He reckons light air tomorrow, so that sounds like good diving conditions, Alan.
Southerlies on Saturday.
Southerlies on Saturday, over.
Roger, yeah, I don't mind a bit of variation in the wind.
Pitch up to 20 on late Sunday.
Yeah, he said on Sunday, late Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Late Sunday it will pick up to 20, so
Southeast.
from the southeast, so you might want to do all your water stuff before then. All right, Alan, have a good day there, and we're back on the side.
Thanks for that.
Blowing pretty good.
Blowing pretty good. I almost had a look exactly where that is.
Right about there.